Good morning everyone. Today in this video we will fight against the Admas character of our world around us, as we do in every video of this channel. And today we will explain what's right wing, what's left wing in politics, because as Confucianists in China, the followers of the philosophy of greatest Chinese thinker Confucius were saying, we have to restore the proper meaning of the words. And this movie is for that. I will try to do it. What's the right wing way of thinking? This is thinking of a dependent individual that does everything to earn on his own needs, his own money, thanks to his own work, protect his family, be responsible for his family, and this person considers the family as a basic cell of the social body, so it's basic structural element of the society. This man also never denies the reality that comes from nature. So the naturally constructed family, that it's a man, woman and kids, is for him something undebatable. And this person also is not very happy. It's very unhappy when state administration or corporate administration, so let's call it the most holy administrative apparatus, tries to intervene into his life, especially into his family life and his activity. This person actually doesn't like regulations of any type of activity in life, especially when we have too much regulations, like in left-wing states, where everything is regulated just to serve the party and the state or corporation. So it's one and the same parasite on the body of the society. This person also always acknowledges tradition and the values and way of life that comes from tradition, because this person sees the long optimization process behind these values and way of living, and thanks to this optimization process, these values and way of living are so productive and are giving society chance to just keep in one piece and be functional. Of course, this person prefers also to support poorer ones, but support them in a different way than left-wing people, because a right-wing person prefers to give fishing rod than a fish. Because if you give the fishing rod to a person and you teach them how to catch fish, you feed them for entire life. But if you give them only fish, you feed them for one day and make them dependent on the most holy administrative apparatus, so corpo or state, or party, so state. And the right-wing person, of course, supports freedom of speech, because a right-wing person follows the rule that the freedom of one person finishes when freedom of second person starts. So there are naturally imposed limits by the world in which we live in. Of course, private property and right to possess a gun, it's something undebatable for this person. You need to be able to protect yourself and your family, and your property, it's your property, and there is no sharing without any payment or any other agreements that there is an exchange of goods for something, because property is a property. And of course, the right-wing person doesn't like when states or corporation or political party wants to influence his decision or make him incline towards some politics that do not serve his interests. And of course, right-wing person never looks at the other people like well-defined social group, like racial group, like social group, like sexual minority, or whatever, any minority, put what you want. And right-wing person never judges people according to their I would say, characteristic as a member of some group. So like a follower of some religion, like a member of some nation, or some defined minorities, however you define them, because right-wing person always looks as every person he or she meets as an individual and evaluates people as an individual he or she meets in life according to his or her standards taken uh, taken directly from their own traditions they were raised with. Of course, you use brain. When you evaluate somebody, you try to adapt to also the times in which you are living. But tradition is always with you, and it's our reference point. Following tradition doesn't mean that you follow it blindly and you are like a member of some orthodox religious groups or fanatic followers of some ideology. Of course, there is always some flexibility, but as in every tradition, there are points that cannot be changed because they are fundamentals of these traditions. And right-wing person really knows what's that and follows these principles. And the very important thing is that right-wing person also knows that the environment is also important. Very often left-wing persons accuse right-wings of not being aware of the needed of the environment. But of course, we need to protect our nature, we need to protect our planet and our oceans, freshwater reserves and so on. But right-wing person always remembers that the most important and first of all, we should take care of the well-being of humans that are living within our surroundings on our planet Earth. When we take into account the well-being of humans and balance it, we don't need any crazy regulations about the nature protection or any politics that should limit, I don't know, meat consumption or that should introduce some mandates on something because we need to, I don't know, decrease the fertility or regulate the number of people here or there. Because someone calculated that it should help something or that we should use solar batteries because some companies wants to earn, so they just simply hire or deceive some ideological guys who claim that if we use, for instance, I don't know, solar batteries or other electronics, suddenly it will be environmentally friendly just because. But later when we see that it's not so easy because when there is a decomposition of batteries, many heavy metals and other toxic substances also go into environment, and it's even worse very often than it would be with conventional sources of energy. But okay, it's always politics and ideology. And now, right-wing person always remembers that the most important is well-being of humans. And now, very important thing, right-wing person never follows the ideology, because right-wing person sees that the most important is to be connected with reality and to always confront this what we hear, this what we see, this what we encounter with the reality and try to adapt to the reality and make the maximum out of it. So right-wing person knows that life is a hard work and benefits come later. And each day, right-wing person knows that he or she needs to work on his or herself to become a better person, but not better than other people around us, because we do not compare ourselves to other people directly. We compare ourselves to the persons we were yesterday, and we were trying to be each day a better version of ourselves, work on ourselves to be more useful for our society, because as Socrates, the Greek philosopher, said once to his pupils, who were asking him, "What's good, master?" So master said, "This was useful, it's good." This is one of the principles of right-wing persons, so we try to be useful, more and more adapted to the reality we live in, to be more useful, to be better version of ourselves, to be useful for us, our family members, our community. We follow the traditions, we respect family values, and we do not follow blind ideologies, because we see that it leads us only to the misfortunes, great tragic misfortunes. And the funny thing is that we look at the person as I mentioned before, as an individual, and we respect the individual, talk to individual, and work with the individual and help the individual. Not like left-wing people, that they all would like to be under the surveillance and guidance of the most holy administrative apparatus, which is telling them what to do, and they treat people like well-defined group, like nation, race, minorities, however you define it, sexual, ethnic, whatever. But at the end of the day, if you have such approach that you treat people as a well-defined group, you don't see individual. So left-wing people are fighting for groups of people that are more or less imaginary, but they are not able very often to help the individual because they are embedded within the narrow frameworks of their ideology, so they lose connection with reality. And right-wing person is stick to the reality and tries to do best within the conditions the right-wing person has at the moment. And this is the best approach in my opinion. All the best, and thank you for listening to this movie. I hope that I explained some issues to you and I was able to restore a little bit the real meaning of the words that are misused nowadays very often, and they are misused like hell. All the best, bye.